David, hello. Should we start with a sort of team news update? Where are the squad ahead of this one? Any sort of fresh concerns from Tuesday night?
Timo will be out for tomorrow. Sam McCallum is back in training. Marquinhos will be back in training probably tomorrow. And anyone else was healthy after last game. I think I have not forgot anybody.
With Timo, are you expecting that just to be out for this game and then should be a return, or are you expecting something a little bit more long term with that?
If long term means a month, then I don't expect it. We have to assess. We are knowing that he will be out for Saturday. What it means for the rest of next week's or for the rest of the next week, we have to see.
What does that mean in general for kind of the striking area? Because I know you said you go with 3. You're obviously now down to 2. You like to play with 2 if possible. Does it mean you're going to have to draft in one of the under-23s? Do you have to look for kind of different alternatives? Because there are a lot of games and there probably will come at the time where you are going to need to sort of rotate those front 2.
Yeah, this is correct. But to be totally honest, we have 2 top strikers. I think they have shown it. Even if we have to have an eye on Adam Ida, who for sure has done very well with Josh together, but we have to have an eye on his fitness, how he will progress, or how we can progress him in an intelligent way after the period which he had, and I'm very happy with him having back, and we as well have players who can play in the second striker position. Liam can play there, Nacho can play there, Gabi can play there, so we have quite good, very good alternatives. So I'm not too much bothered about, even if I have to say every manager, me included, likes to have Timo available and fit and in the squad. But I have every trust and belief in our squad and the players which we have available for Wigan.
And on a wider point, when you are in a run of games like this, and I think kind of you've spoken about you've used the word intensity quite a lot, the players have used the word intensity. Is there a bigger focus on recovery when you have kind of these match weeks where you're playing 3 games in 1 week? Is there a bigger focus on that? And are you doing more stuff kind of from an analysis perspective rather than perhaps on the training pitch?
Yeah, this is exactly how it is. Obviously, it's all about recovering and all about to get obviously the tactical message across, which means is it more in the meeting room, in the video meeting room, rather than on the grass, compared to a normal week where it's more on the grass rather than the video meeting room. But this is normal stuff, so we are all together used to the championship midweek games. Now we have 2 weeks of this. We are looking forward to it. We have done it and said it before. We all together like playing football. This is why we are doing this job, and now we are looking forward to the next one, which will be Wigan away.
When you are in this type of schedule, I mean, what do you kind of prefer when you're kind of talking to players? Are you gauging how they're feeling? Are you kind of leaning on the physical data that they're producing in terms of deciding whether or not they are kind of in a right physical state for the next game, or whether there is a possibility of rotation?
Everything of all, to be fair. So obviously I get information from the data, I get information from conversations with the players, I get information from conversations with our medical department and the head of performance, who know the players much more longer than I do, because they know how an individual can recover, how he is used to playing 3 games in a week, and all this information then, and obviously first and foremost what I see on the pitch, how he looks like, will then decide who will be starting, who will come in. It's important to have depth in the squad, what we have, and obviously it's important to use every player at the right moment, on the right position, in the right game, what we will for sure do in the next weeks.
Okay, just one on Christos Solis, just on the kind of fitness point, because obviously you took the decision when you played Bristol City to leave him here to kind of complete some fitness work. He was back in the squad for Tuesday. How do you kind of assess where he is at the moment? Is he kind of closer to those levels that you would like him to be at, given of course he obviously had a long-term injury and has just come back from a loan spell as well?
Yeah, he had a good week with our fitness department, which he needed, and obviously he looked better afterwards. So this is why he was in the squad. He unfortunately got a cut at his knee very early when he came on Tuesday. He needed 3 stitches, but everything looks well. The wound looks well, and this is why he can train with us tomorrow, and he will be available for the squad as well. This is how it looks like. But he needed this time, and we will for sure work with him. He needs time. We will work with him to get him to the level which we all together like to have him.
And just in terms of your reflections again on Tuesday night, I think you described it after or immediately after the game as kind of the best performance since you arrived at the club. Having kind of watched it and done all the analysis work on it, are you sort of the same opinion sat here today?
Yeah.
Excellent. Good. And in terms of that type of game, are you expecting a similar type of game against Wigan this weekend, in terms of it's kind of the onus is going to be on you to gain control of it against probably a team who are sort of scrapping for their lives at the wrong end of the table?
Absolutely, and I think everybody who judged them on the position in the table that they are in the bottom 3 does the first mistake, and this is not what we will do, for sure not. I've seen them yesterday. It's a team which is very energetic, looked very committed, good shape. They really work their socks off. What you can expect from a team which just switched the manager, and this is what you really were able to feel. And they played some good football offensively as well. Obviously, the pitch isn't the best. We all together are aware about this in Wigan, and we have to be first and foremost be mentally prepared for what is in front of us. And then, like always, this will not change because we will play Wigan. We always said this, and this is in this case as well the reason. The most important thing is that we stick to our principles, to our identity, and that we make sure we play our football, whoever is in front of us. And it can be a top 3 team, it can be a bottom 3 team. It should not influence our performance and our mindset. And this is something I really ask ourselves, especially after now the first games which we played together, that we really trust and believe in ourselves and play our football. And this is exactly what we like to do, even if we for sure are aware how difficult this task will be on Saturday against Wigan.
It's interesting you mentioned the pitch. I can imagine that the quality of the pitch is probably changed depending on whereabouts you go in the Championship. But does it change, or do you have to change, or do your team have to change what they do as a result of the playing surface?
I don't think that this is the case that you have to change something. So let's be fair. It's not the best, yes, but I played some League One games in the Cup where they were worse. So it's not the best. Okay, respect it, accept it, and find the right mindset to it. Obviously, if the pitch is not the greatest, it can happen that there is the one or other technical mistake more, but then it's all about how to react to it, and we know exactly how we like to react to situations like this. We already have today spoken about it, and this is what we will show them on Saturday.
Yeah, I think they play rugby on it, to be fair, don't they? So that probably does impact it. I mean, you've used the word mindset there, and I think you've spoken about kind of the mental challenge of this weekend. Is that kind of what you feel it is? And it feels kind of spoken about maybe as a bit of a cliche at points when you come up with a team who are in the position that Wigan are, and they're kind of fighting for their lives, and it does feel like you almost have to be ready for that kind of mental challenge when you go there.
This is exactly what it is. So first and foremost, we have to prepare ourselves to the challenge which is in front of us. This means to prepare us mentally and to prepare us physically, and this is what we will do. And we have to make as well clear that we get consistency in our performances, and this means consistency in how we will approach a game and how we will play in ball possession, without ball possession, that you can see how we play. Everybody should then see from the outside, even if you can't see it with the shirts or with a name on the shirt, that this should be a Norwich City team, how they play this football game. And if this is the case, we are for sure on the right way, and this is what we have to make sure that this is on Saturday the case, that we approach and go into this game exactly with our idea of football and show it.
What do you make of Sean Maloney? He's an interesting coach in that he worked alongside Roberto Martinez for a little bit. Obviously had a brief spell at Hibs, now at Wigan where he used to play. I mean, young coach. What have you kind of made of his early weeks, early games in charge there?
To be fair, as you said, it's early weeks. Obviously, he had a great career. This is why he deserved the job in the Championship. How the players reacted in the first 3 games, I said this already, was quite well. And but even this is nothing what really influenced our mindset, how we like to play this game, and that we like to invest everything, that we will show again how hungry, how greedy, how desperate we really are to continue, first and foremost, to perform on a very, very good level, on our level, and then hopefully get the right result as well.
You mentioned the early weeks of being a manager, and you've obviously just gone through that here of having that kind of early spell. How important is that for a manager in terms of getting your ideas across, getting buy-in from players for your ideas?
Yeah, first and foremost, I know how difficult it is, especially during the season. But on the other hand, this is exactly the challenges which we like, which we are looking forward to. And I only can speak for myself here at Norwich. It was a good begin, a great start, where I met a lot of open-minded people. Everybody really tries to buy in, to support what we are doing, and hopefully we can add a further good result on Saturday.
Just a few more from me, a couple on Max Aarons. What have you kind of made of him since you came in? Because he's obviously, I'm sure, was a player that you were really aware of before you came in. He's been linked, I think, with pretty much every club in Europe now, which is quite an achievement. But what have you made of him, and how much you enjoy working with him, and what the sort of player that he is?
First and foremost, Max is a good character, a very good lad. He really likes to do his job, very solid, a top professional. He's always fit, very rarely injured, or you can't rely on him. You always can rely on him that he is available, and obviously he has a lot of potential. So we had a few conversations about how I think he can get to another level attacking wise, because I think he has all the skills to do. Maybe if his first touch is more offensive, his general idea of the fullback position is more offensive, what suits our style, what I like to have. I like to have attacking fullbacks, and hopefully with our mindset, with our idea, we can get him to an even higher level, which he already has. And then it's all about to make sure that he has better, bigger numbers in terms of goals and assists, because this is something what for sure our fullbacks should produce, have to produce, and what we like to help them and support them that they can produce this.
I know you don't like to talk about kind of the past, but when you came in, was there a sense that there was perhaps, or from your perspective, you needed to put a little bit of confidence in him, or a bit more clarity in him in terms of role? What did you kind of encounter from him when you walked in?
To be fair, it's not. I didn't come in and thought, okay, it's Max Aarons where I have to give a little bit more clarity in his position, what I expect from it. It was every position. It was centre-back position, what we expect for them, in-ball position, without ball, number 6 or the pivot, full-backs, wingers, strikers. So obviously we wanted to give every player a clear idea, a clear structure, what we expect from the certain position. And then the player who knows, okay, I can play as a pivot, I can play maybe as a right back. These are the positions where I have to have a lot of attention when we speak about these positions. This was not only Max Aarons on the right back position, that's where all of the positions which we really wanted to get them an idea across how we like to approach this game in defense and in offense.
It's interesting some of the words you used to describe it. I think you spoke about consistency, reliability, kind of the fact he's always available. Those are traits that are quite rare in a player who's only 23, isn't it? I mean, that's the sort of thing that does get kind of coaches excited to work with him.
Yeah, absolutely. So he has a great future in front of him if he stays healthy. What it looks like that he will do, because, as I said, he is more or less always fit. What is very, very helpful, and he likes to add new ideas to his game, and this means you have more or less everything to make a top career. And I'm very excited to support him, to help him to make the next steps.
And just last one from me. Apologies if you've been asked this, which is a possibility. I might have completely missed it. But your assistant, Christoph Bühler, I think he's been with you pretty much, certainly every club since Huddersfield. I think he was with you before then. I think that's fair to say. What qualities does he offer you as kind of your deputy or your assistant? How does that kind of partnership between you and him work?
Now, first and foremost, we know us inside out. Obviously, what he knows exactly how the game should look like, how I think the game should look like. He knows it without that I have to speak about it. He is a very hard-working assistant who I really can trust and rely on. And he is somebody who really likes the details as well. And obviously we know us now more than 20 years. This means there is more than only a working relationship in between us, and I think it's very important that you have somebody where you can have very clear, honest conversations without that he's sulking. And this is the case with him. And he, on the other side, can let me know his thoughts as well, very honest, and then obviously I have to make the decisions where his thoughts are very important for me as well.
Lovely stuff. Thanks, David. Good luck on Saturday.
Michael? Hey, David. I want to follow on from that, actually. I mean, when you get offered the job here, are you straight on the phone to Christoph and it's like, well, obviously he will be coming with me?
Yeah, this was never...
He might have had other
no. No, so it was clear when I come back, he will be on my side. This was clear when we went to Huddersfield. It was clear. It was clear when we left Huddersfield. It was clear when we went to Switzerland, and after Switzerland it was clear as well. As soon as I decide to go back, he will be in my backroom stuff. Funnily, he was here in, I don't know exactly, to be fair. I think it was last year in May or April, and visit Norwich for 3 days or for 2 days. Had a few on the training facility as well. Met obviously Yuzi and Dean as well, and Shaky. So they were very, very kindful that they gave him the opportunity to be here for, I think, 2 or 3 days. So he visited a few clubs in England, and one of them were Norwich.
That's really nice. What did he make of it? Did he tell
No,
you about
he liked it. So he liked it. He said, very good training facility, nice city, very good people. He was very complimentary about the trip here to Norwich.
This is good. This is leading on to a few things I'll ask you now. It'll probably be easier. But I did want to ask how you are settling in, because I remember when we spoke to you on the first day, you were like, "I've not seen any of this." So I mean, and time goes so quickly, doesn't it? I imagine when you take on a job.
Yeah, luckily since last week I found a flat in Norwich.
Thank
so even if it was good and nice in the Bar and Brew Hotel. So thank you to all of them that they host me for 4 or 5 weeks. I'm happy now to be in a flat. I haven't seen a lot, to be fair, after our last conversation. But obviously I was now sometimes in Norwich for a walk in the city centre and at the River Wensum for I think 2 or 3 times for an hour, where I was able to have a walk. I've been in the cathedral as well, So I have seen some bits.
There's progress.
Yeah, absolutely. But give me time.
Well, when you get to the coast, it'll be great. Again, maybe a private question, I don't know, but do you find it easier to have your family move with you, or is it easier for them to have a base? Do you like to do that? Because again, it's difficult as a manager. You're kind of a beck and call of jobs almost.
Yeah, that's correct. But it was more difficult when my daughters were younger, and then when I had to leave my home, then it was more difficult. Now the daughters left the home because they are 28 and 23, so it's much more easier. And to be totally honest, especially at the beginning when you come into a football club, and especially when it happens during a season, it's better to be alone because you have no time for no one anywhere. And let's say my wife would be here, obviously the half an hour a day, it would be nice for me, but the other 23 hours, it wouldn't be nice for her to be here totally alone. So obviously we have to make a decision in the summer then how we like to progress. Will she come over, and when she comes over, how long? We haven't not made our head around now at the minute how this will looks like, but it is now much more easier because it's only my wife and me, obviously my dog as well, which sometimes hurts to see him not for a long time, but no, it's easier than it was, let's say, 10 years ago where the children were young.
There's always a dog with football managers. I did want to also just ask you about your previous two jobs, because I feel like I haven't had a chance to talk to you about that. So with Schalke, I mean, it was a phenomenal start, and then you had to go through so many difficult things, like every football club did through COVID. And then with young boys, it maybe didn't achieve what you would have liked to there. What were the key things you took away from that? Because I imagine, especially after the young boys job, that was probably quite a difficult period for you in your head coach career.
To be fair, I think from every experience you learn, and from every experience you get a better manager. Let's say the successful ones where you get a lot of praise for, and as well, let's say for the less successful ones. I think for me personally, it's always important, first of all, to have your own explanation why happened what happened. And if we take the Schalke example in this season, as you said, with COVID, with all the changes in the board, so the owner changed, the sporting director, the marketing director, the finance director, everything changed, injuries, everything what we had, everything came together, and you've seen now, even after 3 years, how difficult it is for this football club to come back to their routine, let's say. So I totally know which part I played in this story, and obviously Young Boys was different because this was the financial best year this football club had ever with our Champions League group stage qualification. We made 5 points in the Champions League, so there was a big focus on this Champions League season. Then we sold for 20 million in the winter 4 of our best players. So this is why this club were able to generate so much money. And obviously the plan was then to invest in the summer again, to go again. Not always I have to agree with every decision a board is doing. When we already collected so much money in the Champions League, why to collect further money and maybe make your squad, which has problems to compete in the league, even weaker. So, but it's a board decision which you have to accept, and then you have to take the consequences. So I can totally live with both. Even everybody hopes to go to whatever Europe, win titles or whatever, but this is not always the case. You will learn from it, and I've learned obviously a lot, especially being managing in Germany, where I come from, managing in Switzerland, another country abroad from Germany, and these are very big experience, not only as a manager, as a person as well. And this is one of the things which really challenged me, and which I like to have, learn and get experiences which makes you better.
Thank you, David. That's really, really good. Just a couple of quick ones. Sam McCullum, is that a fresh injury that he's picked up on? Sorry if I've missed that. Or is...
No, he got some muscle injuries issues last week, so he was only out for five days where we protected him. So it wasn't a acute injury, but he felt stiffness, he felt tight hamstrings, and this is why we decided, okay, we take him out for 5-6 days out of training. Today he was back in training, and this is why he missed the last match.
Perfect. And with Marquinhos, has that as much been about, is it a fresh injury he's picked up, or just the lack of football? Because he hadn't really played much senior
No,
football.
he picked up an injury in training. Obviously not a very bad one, because he was now out for, I think, 9 days. If everything goes to plan, he is tomorrow first time back in training. He was off grass today, trained yesterday on the grass, will be back in team training if everything goes to plan tomorrow for the first time after, I think, roughly 9 days.
Yeah, perfect. That's brilliant. Cheers, David. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Next up.